I was sitting there afterwards, and I'm just like, the whole day is gone. I've been just watching this.
Literally.
It was like, what was it, like a 15-minute scene, and it felt like 10 hours.
Hey guys, welcome to LoveCast, the BL podcast. I'm your host, Kayla, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Pixie and Alexa.
Ew.
Hi.
So today we are doing a deep dive on the next prince, and I feel like that is enough said. This show has been... The buzz it has created and continues to create even after it's over is just unparalleled.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has been talking about it, and I mean, come on. It only makes sense for us to talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like we knew from the day the first episode aired, we were like, we're going to end up doing a deep dive on this show.
We knew from when the trailer dropped that we were going to do this.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was a highly anticipated one for all of us.
It
so
was.
it's like we have to come full circle and talk about it now that it's over. Because I know we all have feelings across the board. So there's a lot to get into.
There is.
There's some good, some bad, and some things that I'm a little undecided about, which I think is the general consensus.
Yes.
But I think we should start with a short synopsis of the series. What is it even about? So, narration voice. The nation of Emily is known for its abundance, both by land and water. Emily is ruled by a monarchy and is divided into 5 regions and leaders. According to royal law, each region must send an heir to compete in order to become a monarch. The winning heir's father becomes the new king of Emily. The story follows the crown prince and heir Kanin of the Asawatan-Watin royal family and his bodyguard, Sharon, whose family has been the royal guard for decades. Kanin lives far away from Emily, and he doesn't really care about seizing the throne. And Sharon, as the royal guard, has this duty to bring Kanin back to the country. So, yeah, there's kind of a slight enemies to lovers thing going on. They're not exactly enemies per se, but there is tension between them that, we see how that turns out.
I always say, like, it's like annoyed by each other to lovers.
Right.
They don't hate each other, but like they don't necessarily like each other right off the bat. So it's like annoyed by each other to lovers storyline.
Annoyed by each other.
I will say this. I was thinking this watching through all the episodes. You cannot convince me that this didn't start out as a fanfic crossover between Harry Potter and the Princess Diaries. Like the fanfic probably like from when Hogwarts was started, and you have all the 4 house people and they're the kings, right?
Okay.
And I love seeing like Hufflepuff in the leads, because obviously the king is Hufflepuff in this scenario.
You might as well be speaking Thai to me.
I was like, my canon is I don't care about Harry Potter, and I never have.
No, but I don't really that much either. But look at the clothes, like green Slytherin, red for Gryffindor.
I do see it, yeah.
For Ravenclaw, and yellow for Hufflepuff. It's right there.
Yeah, I do see it. Especially with the Slytherin and the green. I actually did have that thought whenever I first started the series. But yeah, the Princess Diaries is like, I think the big comparison that a lot of people are making.
Obviously.
I haven't seen that movie in years, but I think
I love it.
It checks out.
I've rewatched it so many times. I love that movie.
It's iconic.
Yeah. Okay, so where do we even begin? I guess with just the production value. This show infamously has an insane budget.
Yeah.
So Nunu estimated that the final budget is 9 figures. Crazy. Can't my brain can't
Wow.
even wrap around that, which is like
Mm.
3.7 million USD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was so funny because I was racking my brain because I felt like I'd remembered Piaf at some point, like in the Demundi showcase or something, had mentioned the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when I was Googling, like, when the show first, either when it first started filming or when it was in the planning process, they had estimated a budget of 30 million baht. And so the fact that the final budget came out to be roughly like 4 times that is wild.
Yeah.
Like so much money went into that production, and I feel like out of all the arguments that you can make about the show, like you cannot argue about the production value.
No.
Like that's the one thing
Yeah.
you cannot argue about when it
No.
comes to this show.
Yeah. Agree. Agree.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like if they didn't have this budget, I don't think they would be able to pull off just like how grandiose the production is, how grandiose the show is, because like, oh my gosh, like where would you even film it? Like
Yeah.
what would you even
Yeah.
what would you even do?
I will say that just having a big budget doesn't necessarily mean good production, but they did use that budget really well. Like they knocked it out of the park with like everything. The only thing that really annoyed me was the castles, because they used the outside of one castle and the inside of another castle, so it was kind of jarring going between them.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I kind of made a castle in The Sims from the main castle, and I was having a hard time because I did this like in episode 2, and I was trying to get as much details as I could, but they kept switching between like different castles. It was impossible.
Yeah. I think a lot, because like a lot of the outdoor castle shots of like that main castle were filmed and shot in England, I think.
Yeah, the front
that was like the outdoor.
the front outdoor, the back outdoor was a completely different place.
Yeah. It's like the air when you see the aerial shots, it's like very different from when they're like actually outside. Obviously,
the garden
like
is like gardening normally when they're out there, but
gardening.
in the outside castle from England, there's not much of a garden there.
Yeah, it's the little things, but
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they did the best they could, honestly, with like trying to outsource footage from England. Like they had their own team that they were working with there, and that like goes back to just like the budget. I mean, the music, they hired their own orchestra for all of the music in the show.
I didn't know that.
Original scores.
You know,
There's the costumes. I mean,
the costumes were so good. I like going into that theme of like what we were talking about with like the each royal clan like having its color scheme and like sticking to that in every outfit, like everything they had like had their country and their themes worked in, and like all the little details were so good with the costuming. Like you could tell like it didn't, I mean, obviously Pixie is our clothing expert here, but to me, like, it didn't look like cheap royal clothing, you know? It didn't look like they picked it up at, like, a party city or something. Like, you can tell that, like, effort went into building those costumes and tailoring those costumes and everything.
You can literally tell the quality of the clothing just by looking. But damn, I do not envy the person who has to clean those clothes, because that's a nightmare. But yeah, the one thing about like the clothes and everything, I love how they kind of took the inspiration of how royal wear used to be and modernized it.
Yeah.
It was so on point, and it didn't feel garish, or it didn't feel like it was too much. It felt really appropriate for the space. And when they were wearing normal clothes, walking around normal people, it still felt it still felt like it had a place in that world, right? So
It was
I
kind of like
just,
preppy.
yeah. And if there's anywhere you can get away with giving the actors like completely new clothing all the time, it's it's in like a king
Royalty, yeah.
royalty show.
We probably would not be allowed to wear the same thing more than once.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, no, I love the modern royalty, and I loved how like their casual clothing was still like business casual basically, like, and then like, and so you got to the final episode where like they were wearing
Yeah.
those I love
That was kind of
Emma
jarring. I'm just like,
I was like,
oh,
oh,
you are
and
selling
the
us those
elephant pants.
t-shirts.
It was so funny. It was just like very like,
Yeah.
obviously like at that point like Kanan had already decided he was like renouncing his title and things like
Yeah.
that, but it was so funny because every other time they went out, like he was in like a sweater vest and slacks, and like this
Yeah.
time he was like t-shirt and elephant pants.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they were like, oh, we need to sell something and just put them in these like couple t-shirts that will be sold. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I will say like that was another point. Like I was very curious about, because obviously with this budget that meant there was a lot of sponsors. Like I was very curious about how they were going to be worked in. Like some of them were very subtle, like
Yeah.
they would just have like a casual like shot of like an ad or something.
Yeah.
My favorite was Shakri doing the hair ads and how we would always say the full title, and then at the end they pointed it out. Kanem was like, every time you say the full title. Like I love when ads are kind of like aware of themselves and
Yeah.
are a little bit cheeky like that. So
Yeah.
like yes, like some of them stood out at some point, and like you see the very pointed shot of like the inhaler, but like I was like, for 120 million budget, throw whatever ads in there you want. I don't care, because I think it was
Honestly,
worth
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I
But at
didn't
least be
care
creative
either.
about it, right?
Right.
My favorite one was the dream sequence where they were eating the jelly, and
Hmm.
Kanin was like, "Oh, look, it's like us on the jelly or something." It was so funny.
It was like Z and Anu as celebrities were like canon in
Yeah.
the next Prince universe.
Oh,
This guy
dude,
looks a lot like you.
when they were on the blanket and watching,
IGE
Buffy
ads
was
are always
watching IGE. That was
The IGE ads
hilarious.
are always so funny. I love them.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god. Yeah. It was great. Like I laughed. Like I enjoy when they put in ads and I don't get annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, a big draw for me was the costumes and the set dressing.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I think we mentioned this in a previous episode, but the fact that they, like, handcrafted everything. Again, it's like that costs so much money to do. You're having, like,
Yeah.
actual craftsmen and artists creating that stuff, too. So it's like, there's just so much attention to detail put into
So
it.
much detail in
production-wise.
every scene. Like I feel like you could spend like so long just like pausing and looking at the background of like every scene to see everything that was in there, like especially those like bigger sets. Like I think of like Sharon's art room and like how many like different pieces were in there, and how many like detailed like different kinds of art pieces in there, or even like when they were out and about walking at the mall, like seeing all the background and all the details they put into like the different like vendor stalls and stuff, like just so much detail that I think really like just immerses you in the universe.
Yeah. I agree.
Soundtrack, OST, I loved all the songs, but I think my favorite is Above and then Our Night. I really love Our Night.
Our Night's a good one.
I cannot tell you what their names are. I just really love the one with the woman that sings at the ball.
Oh, the Moonlight Magic.
That's and I love how they like
Yeah.
incorporated it throughout the show when there was like these really romantic scenes. I was just like, it fits.
And then Nanu sings it at the end, and his version.
Yeah,
is
that
really
too.
good.
I was just like, woo. No, I loved it.
I
The
really like
music
Dao's
was, yeah.
OST as well. I always have
Mm,
the I trust you. It played a
Mm-hmm.
lot more at the beginning of the show, I feel like, but that one like replays in my brain a lot.
I kind of
yeah.
love that they incorporated so much singing in the
There's a
show.
lot of music and I
I
There
do
really liked
too.
it.
is.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
mean they
like
took advantage of the
even
fact that Nanu can sing.
Yeah.
yes. Yes, there are actually a lot of OSTs for this show. I was surprised. Like, I feel like every single day, I think there's even another one that's not on here that was just released.
Yeah, I
Um,
was gonna say I did this the other day, and I was like, I had to look at a playlist on Spotify because I definitely could not keep track of all of them,
there's
and I
so
was like, damn,
many.
another one, another one, another one.
I know it was a little controversial online, but I even loved how they incorporated music and singing in the protest scenes
Yeah.
because it
Yeah,
felt very, I don't know, very impactful. Like it made it very
Yeah.
emotional, and it was for a purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know
It
a lot of people were like, "Why are they singing?" They thought it like kind of like felt like a musical, but I was like,
yeah.
well, no, it has meaning.
You
I
know,
feel like
protest and music have gone hand in hand for forever. Like people
yeah,
singing in the streets, protesting is not a new thing. That
yeah,
I just it lended a more of like like you said, it was more impactful because if it was just a bunch of people yelling, it wouldn't have had the same impact.
yeah, 100%. And that was a lot of like the not argument, but that was a lot of like the people who were advocating for the singing. Like that's kind of the place where they were coming from. Is
Yeah.
like music is so important to protests. We see that
Hmm.
even now with our modern protests.
Yep.
I just think like there is this general like consensus. I don't know if that's the right word in the BL fandom that like anytime someone sings in a BL, people automatically say it's cringy. And like it's kind of been like a running joke across BL. Like you pick up the guitar and I have to click out of the episode. And I just like
Yeah.
think that's kind of automatically applied to any time anyone sings in a BL now. And I feel like for at least some people, like that's kind of the angle they were coming from with not liking the music. But I
Yeah.
just like I feel like yes, there are moments in BLs where someone singing feels out of place, but this didn't feel
Yeah.
like one of those moments.
Yeah, I feel like the issues I've had in the past with music and BLs have often been that they're just trying to sell the music. There's no
Mhm.
reason they should
Yeah.
be singing right there. Like suddenly they're in a club picking up a guitar and singing. Like, why is this happening? But this this felt natural. I didn't in any of the singing scenes, I didn't feel like it shouldn't happen. Like, why? Like, there's precedence for situations with singing in the same
Mhm.
situations. Mm. And
Yeah.
one thing I will say for like an argument for the singing being good in the scene is showing that it's not a mob. Like if you have a bunch of angry people um, that are protesting, people can often see it as like a negative thing. They're just there to ruin and they're to like break things around them, set things on fire. I don't know, like a mob. But people who stop and sing, there's a there's a peaceful protest to it. Like they're not the instigators. They're not the bad guys. They're not overcome with anger, right? They're legitimately making a point.
And music just brings people together, I think. So, yeah, it made sense to me.
Yep.
I want to throw in like two categories here or cinematography and then stunt work.
Mm-hmm.
Cinematography, oh my gosh. I know that one of the cameras they used was Z had just recently said, I believe, that it was like the same camera they use in like a major Hollywood movie.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I can't remember which one it
Was it
was,
the
but
one with Tom Cruise where he has this whole thing on front of him?
um, I don't know. I should have went and tried to find the tweet, but Yeah, I feel like that just again like points to the production value. Like they're
Yeah.
and that's why the cinematography in part is so good. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch every episode and just be like, this feels like a movie. It feels like
Mm-hmm.
a mini
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just shot so beautifully. I will say that the lighting is kind of bright and yellow at some points. I know that Nanu,
Mm-hmm.
even in one of their reactions, said like, "Why is the lighting so bright?"
Yeah.
Uh,
Some
but
people
I,
do look washed out sometimes.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I think that's just like the color grading that they decided on for this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But yeah, even the drone shots, I thought they were really nice. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I thought that they like did the best job that they could, trying to make it seem like it was all the same country, even though if you look very
Mm-hmm.
closely, it's definitely not. Um, but yeah, there were just so many camera shots that I was like, this is just, it's so artistic. Like, even down to Z and Nanu's NC scenes, I was like, this is shot so artistically. Like, showing the showing them in the mirror, having the statue like cover them. I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude, I never expected to see that much of C's body. And
No, it
I
was
was like, hello.
crazy. It was
Every time a scene started, I was like, are we going to see Z's ass again? Like, I'm not prepared
I'm not
for it.
complaining. I am a little bit, I am, what do you call it? Mourning that they shaved off C's happy trail.
You know what? I had the same exact thought. That is valid. I thought the same thing.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, that they did show a lot. They really
Mm-hmm.
did. That I
I
was
am
thrown off
impressed
by
by
that.
C. Like he is just leaving it all bare. I
Literally.
like he's never been very shy in any like the shows he's done. But this was on another level.
Yeah. No, that this felt like, I mean, I feel like the Mundi has not a reputation, but
Mm-hmm.
their NC scenes are always like very artistic and
Yep.
involved and on the more intense side, I would
Yeah.
say. But I feel like this and all of those elements, this was like on another level. Like the
Mm.
artistic shots, like
Yep.
the intensity of them, the duration of them. Like it felt
Yeah.
like for a Demundi NC scene, like all of them were just like a lot of things with this show, just like on another
Yeah.
level, I feel like.
Yeah, I was watching one of the first NC scene we got. Like I was sitting there afterwards, and I'm just like, the whole day is gone. I'm just watching this.
Literally,
Those it was like, what was
literally.
it, like a 15-minute scene and it felt like 10 hours.
They're all
I'm
super
not
chill.
complaining. It was really well done, but I'm just like, I
You're like, oh
didn't
my god,
expect
I've been
this.
watching this for so long.
Who even am I anymore?
I have had weeks taken from me just from hearing Z say "good boy." Like
Oh,
I,
dude.
the first time it happened, I was like, I'm barely here, and the second time, I was like, just lock me up in the asylum, please.
Yeah.
Just lock me up and
Yeah.
throw away the key
Yeah.
because I can't. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Dude, he knows what he's doing to us. Dude. No, but I will say like it's very obvious that they respected what the actors were comfortable with because you can see they are in various undressedness all across the board in all the NC scenes with Jimmy and like everyone had like different levels of how much was showing. So it's very obvious that they weren't like pressured to do more than they felt comfortable with. And I
Definitely.
appreciate that. And I appreciate C.
Yeah.
Right, right,
Right, right, right.
right. Um, I don't know how to segue into this, but the other thing I really liked was the stunt work. Like the few action sequences we did get, I love them so much. I love just like seeing Sharon go around shooting people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like it just I was kind of afraid that maybe they would like do the whole thing where they Disney-fy the violence in the show,
Right.
but I
No.
don't think they did.
No.
No, I had this thought while like the final like fight, like the big like rebellion scene. I was like, this is like a full on shootout. Like they did not shy
Hmm.
away from like people got shot in the head. Like it
Dude.
was like they did
Yeah.
not shy away from like making it as intense as it needed to be to show like this is a rebellion that's happening and people
Yeah.
die when these things happen, you know?
I mean, it's a BL, so it's gonna get like a high age limit either way. So just throw the violence in there.
Gonna be 18 plus.
And they're
even,
showing Z's ass. So, I mean,
and even
Throwing
if
the
they hadn't, it
gun,
still would have
throwing
gotten
that.
an 18 plus rating.
Yep. Yep.
yep.
I love that the acting coach was like sharing behind the scenes clips of some of these scenes too. I just thought it was really cool. Like I love seeing them doing the fight choreography. I love it. I loved it so much.
Yeah. And
I
also I think like the fencing kind of falls into this category as well. Like obviously I'm sure like the full fencing sequences they probably had like professionals in there at some point, but I know that like the actors
They did
themselves
a
did
lot.
learn a lot of the technique to make like even just like the scenes where he was practicing like to look realistic and stuff like that. So
Dude, I am sorta into fencing now. I It was kind of exciting to watch. I've never cared about fencing in my life until now.
I always love a sports sequence in a show, so like it excites me.
And that like it seemed like such genuine joy when they managed to like stick one another. And then it's just like I like watching men poke other men with
Uh-huh.
pointy
Yep.
ends.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
That
Well,
means,
now
I
what
think
I
that
was
can
gonna
mean many
say
different things.
exactly. Now what I was gonna say is gonna sound weird too because I have like this whole thing where I have my own version of the next Prince that I'm like writing in my head, and I've written some of it down. It's basically like a fan fiction, but I feel very strongly that one of the competitions should have been horseback riding
Mm.
Ooh,
Mhm.
yeah.
and like
Agreed.
equestrian stuff. It
Yes,
would have been so good.
it
Then
would.
there would
It
be
would.
multiple versions of riding in the show.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see more writing than what was already in there.
Right.
Like, horses are great. I mean, I'm kind of
Anyway.
impressed. You know the scene when they're sitting both on the horse and they're kind of kissing and whatnot with the sun going down and back or whatever. You know that scene? I'm so impressed because it's so hard to keep your balance on a horse with two
Yeah.
people, and you have to act and kiss and the horse. I promise you that horse was not standing still. Like there's no horse on earth just stands there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't know how to segue into this next portion, but I feel like directing, acting, and chemistry all kind of go in the same category. But what did you guys think about just like the acting?
I was really, really impressed by the acting. I honestly, when it just comes to the acting, I don't really have a lot of comments because I just think they did a really good job. And
Same.
there wasn't really any moments that took me out or anything. Like they all acted in like believable ways. And I just I don't know. I what can you criticize?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't acting wise, like
If
this being like the first, well, I know they had the movie as well, but like this is the first like Z Nanu project I've watched him in since Cutie Pie, which was 2022.
yeah.
So 3 years ago. So like they've had a lot of time and like they've
Yeah.
done other projects and stuff obviously that like have helped develop their skills. So like my only thought was like they've improved so much since
Grown
the days
so
of Cutie
much.
Pie. And like
Yeah.
obviously, like I said, I haven't they've done other projects in between that I haven't necessarily tuned into. So like that probably made like the difference seem even more like
And dude,
yeah.
Jimmy was giving it all. Like
Oh my
Jimmy
god,
was,
Jimmy's so good.
Yeah.
oh, dude, I missed Jimmy. Ever since like watching
Why
oh,
are you?
thank you. Yes. Like he was great in that too, but like he was new to acting at that point, I think. And like he's grown a lot and he was just like giving it his all.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I loved it. Like my criticism of the show doesn't touch on the acting at all.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I think with Jimmy especially like this being his first project coming back from his hiatus where he talked about like how bad his mental health was, like I can only imagine that there was probably a lot of pressure
Yeah.
that goes into like getting back on the screen again, playing what should be like such a very very complex
Yes.
character archetype and storyline, like with a new acting partner and all this stuff. So all those different elements, like I was so his scenes, like the scenes in with his dad and like all of those like very heavy confrontation moments, like I
Yeah.
was so locked into like his facial expressions and stuff like that. Like he was really good.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was really impressed by Ohm because that role, there's just
Yeah.
so much that goes into it emotionally, and we saw it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
He's good at
Yeah.
fake crying.
Yeah. The only thing like Nat and JJ's roles were a little bit lackluster, but I don't think it's the acting that was the problem. Like we know they can act, and obviously they were doing a good job with what they had. But I did. If I'm gonna criticize anything, that's that. And if we're gonna get a little nitpicky, it does. I wish they would have used some actors that were fluent in English when they were doing the first episode, the intro, like
Don't
when
get me
he's in
started.
Oh,
England.
Paul
Don't get me
or
started.
When
Icon
he's
I
Paul.
have a
in
whole
England.
I have a whole document critiquing the English in the show because
Yeah.
I was originally gonna do recaps of
Mm,
this series, but I decided not to because like a lot of my criticisms in the beginning were like the English. Like
yeah.
I won't even get like fully into it, but just like grammatically, I was like someone who
Yeah.
speaks native English would never say
Never say
this.
that.
Like
Yeah.
there's a scene in the beginning where Kanin, like his opponent,
Mm-hmm.
asks him, "Who taught you fencing?"
Mm-hmm.
And he replies, "It's my dad." And I was like, a native English speaker would never reply to a
No.
who question
Mm-hmm.
leading with "it's" instead of
Yeah.
the subject. Like,
Yeah.
you would be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
my dad taught
I
me." So there's like
I
little things
even
like that where I was like,
feel like I even feel if you've been taught English since like grade school, whatever, you wouldn't say it like that. I've never heard anyone talk like that when they have a Norwegian English accent either. So it it was a little bit jarring. I appreciate that they put it in there, and I appreciate that they were trying. And I think Nanu did a really good job with what he had, but he was obviously being taught what to say, and he wasn't getting the right words. And with the production they were doing, why didn't they just bring someone that is native to English in to listen or even just read the
Yeah.
lines?
Or read a script. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Anytime there's like I feel like anytime there's like supposed to be a role where they're speaking English, they just like pick anyone off the street that they find,
Right?
like
And
literally.
there's
Like
so
even
many American Thai or English Thai actors. How didn't they get any of them?
I don't know. Like even Paul, I loved Paul, first of all. I wish there was more
I
Paul.
love his
That's a whole nother
energy.
thing. Like,
I was
it
sad he
doesn't
didn't show
make
up in the
sense.
finale.
It
Right?
doesn't make sense that Kanin's best friend wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
in the show more. But
Yeah,
anyway,
agreed.
yeah, Paul, like, nothing he said makes sense. Like, for their age
Yeah.
demographic, I was like, he's like, no matter how posh you are, a
Mm.
boy, like, their age is not gonna, like, speak in these full, like, sentences that
Yeah,
kind of don't make sense grammatically. I'm like, yeah, I had a
yeah.
lot of criticism of the English, but I'm gonna shut up about it because it actually upsets me.
Yeah, I think it's like a failure on the production side. It could have been an easy solution, but no one cared to think about it in such a big production. I'm curious why.
Well,
Like
I
it
don't
would be
know.
a question I would like to ask the director why they just didn't think about it or do something about it because I'm genuinely
I don't
curious.
know. I don't know because, like, I know that they put a lot of effort into, like, Nunu put a lot of effort into getting the accent down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like I feel like they could have
And he
also
did a
put
really good
effort
job
into
with that.
casting.
Like I
Hmm.
was really impressed with him talking British. It's just like the grammar was wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, that is nitpicky. It doesn't really matter, but to me,
Yeah,
I'm kind of like,
it was just the intro, I know, but it's as an like an English speaker, or even though it's not my first language, it's just something that's really jarring when you're watching. I bet like none of the Thai fans or whoever who don't know English that well noticed it at all.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have like anything else to say about the acting.
No.
I feel like we touched on chemistry a little. I
Mm.
again was really like impressed by Jimmy and Ohm when it came to chemistry
Mm-hmm.
because Z and Anu, it's like I kind of know what to expect. Like a lot of the time, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even feel like they're acting.
Yeah.
But Jimmy and Ohm, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
especially we'll probably get into it later, but especially depicting the relationship dynamic that they had,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, they're really locked in. They're really going for it. And you felt it. Like it
Yeah.
felt very real.
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed.
Yeah. Same. I think like throughout the show, the chemistry of all the pairings were really, really strong and really good. Like it's very obvious that Jumundi has this locked down. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was disappointed that there wasn't more Ava. What's her name?
Ava and Mira.
Marina. Yeah, we never really hear a lot about her. I
Oh, I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, age wise, the actress who plays Ava is 17, with the
oh
actress who playing Mira being like 25.
oh
So, at least at the time of filming, she was 17. So,
oh.
I'm thinking that's probably
She
why
looks
they
a lot
toned
older than
toned it
17.
down.
Mm.
Because I obviously in the novel it was still only hinted at, but like it
Hmm.
was a blossoming relationship. But I'm wondering if that's why they kind of kept it mostly like strictly like coach,
Yeah.
and like you could tell Mira cared for her a lot more than like the average coach
I mean,
would.
they
But
could have done a lot with them without actually having any like intimacy scenes. I just feel
yeah.
like they were an afterthought, like always. And
Yep.
I I was really impressed by the girl that played Ava because I
Oh, I
read that
loved her,
she's a
Chris.
singer.
She was such a, I loved her like energy playing Ava.
Yeah, and I could
Mm-hmm.
never really like. Has she done any acting before? Like,
I'm not
I
Mm-mm.
sure.
couldn't see
No.
anything. It was just like the typical TV shows that singers go on to talk about singing or sing. So I was just really impressed by her, and I, 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 I I missed her a lot during the show. Like there was so little, and with the runtime of the show and all the episodes, I don't understand why they just didn't give her more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts on it. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
I also just wanted to say, like, I thought a lot of like the platonic chemistry was really fun. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Kanin and Shakri, like their little like
Agree.
duo energy. I love them so much.
Dude,
Shakri was one of my
Shakri
faves
was
in the
amazing.
show.
One
Um,
of my favorite things about the show was Shakri when he was hugging Sharon.
Yes.
That was so funny. And it was cute. I just, that was the best thing.
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like that's another one of my critiques is that like, and we can get into it more, that like I feel like a lot of the relationships between like Ramin, Ava, and Kanin weren't as strong as they could have been. Compare and making comparisons to the novel is
Mm,
a point as well. But I think like
yeah.
the bond between like the cousins and just connecting the characters together in general wasn't as strong as I hoped it would be. But like Kanin and Shakri, I think were like one of the highlights because it did feel like one of like as a platonic connection, like one of the stronger ones in the show,
Yeah.
especially like with Paul, like kind of just going out of the
Going
picture,
out.
never coming back.
Shakri
So
became the new best
he
friend.
was
Okay?
literally
He
in the
moved
final
Yeah,
with them,
episode.
basically.
literally.
In the final episode, he was like, "Am I your bestie now?" So
Paul
basically,
died. Paul is nowhere to be seen anymore.
No, no, Paul. Paul
I was
cannot
upset that he
die.
didn't show up in the finale. I was like,
Yeah.
he didn't go
I
see his
I
bestie
have a
Paul.
lot of thoughts about the finale.
Yeah.
Hmm. I feel like we should talk about the pacing of the show because that to
Hmm.
me is the reason, that is the reason behind all my other criticisms. Like, that is the
Hmm.
cause of it. So, like, from the beginning, when
Mm,
this series started, I was worried about how quickly they were moving through the exposition because it
mm,
felt like you could tell they just wanted to get Kanin to Emily so that they could start his fencing training arc. Like
yeah.
that's what they were working towards in the beginning. But in the
Mm-hmm.
process, I feel like the foundation of Kanin and Sharon's relationship was sacrificed a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, for example, there are a few moments in the series where Kanin will reference something that happened between him and Sharon or like something that happened, but it's something that we never saw. So,
Yeah.
like, I think it was like in like episode 3, Kanin says to Sharon, like, we slept in the bed, we shared the bed together when we were on the run, but we never see
Mm-hmm.
that happen. So
No,
it's
they
like,
did sleep in different places when the one scene we got when he tried to escape. But didn't
so
they
I'm like,
in the novel they slept in the same bed, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it was like a very foundational part of their relationship and like building trust between them. Like it showed you that
Yeah.
Sharon was like the only one that Kanin could trust and felt safe with.
Mm.
And so the fact that they like took that out but then kind of like referenced it even though it didn't
Yeah.
actually happen in the series, I was like
Mm.
what is going on here? But yeah, there were a couple moments like that where they would say, "Oh, blah 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 blah," referencing something, and you never saw it. And I'm like, "Well, why
Mm.
didn't we see it? Why reference it in the first place?" Um,
Mm-hmm.
but also because the pacing was so fast in the beginning, I feel like it left a little too much room for filler. And because they
Yeah.
ended up putting in so much filler, that meant that none of the other characters got the character development that they needed
Yeah.
or
Yes.
the relationship development that they needed.
Yes.
Hmm.
Like Ramil and
100%.
Peitai, I think are like the big example of this because they had such a
Yeah.
complex relationship dynamic. And like
And the
maybe at the
ball got
very least,
dropped.
yeah, at the very least, I wanted to maybe see their resolution go down in a different way because something
Yeah.
about
Hmm.
it just felt very anticlimactic. Like the beach
Yeah.
scene was really good. It was very emotional, but
It
I
was.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they should have
Thoughts.
like, yeah, I don't know if they should have went harder on Ramil's dad, if they should have like shown more of Ramil's, I don't know, kind of
I
like pushing back on his dad.
I remember after like episodes I don't 3 or 4. There was this whole discourse on Twitter about Jimmy and Ohm getting too much screen time, taking it away from the new NC, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
thought up in all of that discourse was, I'm afraid that they're not going to give the side couples enough time to develop complex situations and relationships. And people are out here screaming, like, this is my problem with the whole couple thing in BLs, shipping in BLs, because you go into a show where the show is made to showcase a ship, not to showcase a story. And you get the plot gets lost along the way because fans are demanding to see more of their faves. And it's infuriating to me because we needed to see more of Ramel and Paitai. We needed more of their story to unfold. Like, they were going for something strong, and I think that was great. Like, kinks, trauma, yeah. But it got cut off. We didn't get enough. And
Yeah. Yeah, I obviously feel the same way, and I think it's very frustrating because with that dynamic, I thought, like, this is particularly talking about the NC scene, but I feel like it introduced like this very complex dynamic of like someone who is like their written relationship is like very set in nature. Like Peitai is abused constantly by Ramin's dad. Like there is like this very specific dynamic in their like
they have
formal
this trauma
relationship.
bonding.
And then to like go into like their private like relationship and have that flip completely with like Peitai almost like using BDSM to take control of like the abuse that he experiences every day at the hands of like the dad and things like that. Like it was such like an interesting way to portray their relationship and how they incorporated BDSM. And then like for it to just kind of like fall off made it almost seem like the BDSM was put in there to be like gratuitous in nature. Like I feel like it cut down on everything that could have said like to their character arcs and character development, because like it just like their characters almost like were such an afterthought after that point.
They
almost
disappeared from the show. They disappeared completely. And don't get me started on Net and JJ. Like,
oh my gosh,
they all
disappeared.
And I don't get, one thing I wish about the final episode, final climax, whatever, when the beach thing or whatever, I wish they did a montage of every couple in their like happy place. Like, what the fuck happened to everyone? We don't know. We just saw Sharon and Conan. We don't know anything about anyone.
Yeah. And it was like almost frustrating because like when you talk about like how so much of the second half became filler, there were so many scenes where they were like something would happen and then they would flash back to like 3 different scenes that showed why that happened. I'm like, this exposition isn't necessary. Like you could have been using this to highlight other things that have been like when Chiron like came to England and then they flash back to him at the bar with what his friend's name, Vedich? Like saying he decided he was going to quit. And then there was another scene of him talking to the king. Like, I don't know. I just like, it bothered me that like we would get there and then they would flash back and show 3 scenes about how we got there.
And he also mentioned to someone else that I talked to the king. I'm going to do this. Like, we already know. We didn't need all of this.
And I'm like, this could be used to like show other things that like aren't getting like the same exposition already. So yeah, I think that kind of stuff just felt like with the pacing and like the way they would like jump back and forth. And then there were some scenes that just like would cut off and then they would jump to something else completely. There was one that stuck out to me when they were going into the first day of the competition. It was like Ken and Sharon had like a scene and then they cut to a scene where Sharon was like the first competition is going to be about wit, so I prepared all these questions for you. And then they immediately cut to the first day of the competition.
Yeah.
Like, it was just it felt like such an unnecessary, like, small little scene that was put in there. And I'm like, that's just one
Yeah, I
example,
think they
but
did it to try and remind us about what happened earlier because the episodes have been so long and there are so many of them. But I don't think it's necessary. People were locked in. People know what happened earlier in the
yeah.
show. You didn't need those reminders. And it made the whole plot jarring. Yeah. I'm just feeling like I'm getting angry now.
Yeah, no, this is what I've been annoyed about for like months now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Calvin and Jay is like almost even more egregious than Ramil and Peitai because you could
What
almost like
even
take
was
them out of the
that?
story and the story would be the same.
Oh, Calvin
It,
fucked
they
off home again, and we saw it on the TV. Okay.
Yeah, I felt
What?
like it almost did like a disservice to Net and JJ to put them in this show because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I was just like, and it's another thing where like I hate to keep comparing to the novel, but like Calvin and Jay in the novel felt so much more connected to the main characters because they were part of
Yeah.
Kanin's fencing team and like Calvin was
And
sponsoring the
Calvin had
fencing
his
team.
own like thing in the novel, like his own
Yeah.
trauma, his own background. This Calvin,
They aren't connected to the rest of the story really, and so like it felt like they just kind of like I don't know. It's
Calvin was a
so I
ghost.
yeah, and I
He
also
had
Yeah,
was
no
there
like
were literally jokes
personality.
about him disappearing, like "Where's Waldo," which is
yeah,
literally true.
Literally, I
and
feel
it's
it was unnecessary to have him there. They could have Jay as a protester without giving him romance because the romance wasn't giving anything. There was no reason.
yeah,
Um,
because like in the final scene when Jay was like I like you too, I was like how I never saw like we never really saw Jay developing feelings for Calvin. Like they were bros, they protested together. Calvin got called back to his country for protesting. And
Jay
then in the
found out
final
he's
scene, Jay was
prince.
like, yeah, I like you too. Like, I feel like we never saw, from Calvin's perspective, yes, we could see him developing feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like, Jay never read as being interested in Calvin romantically. And I don't know, it just felt like, yeah, it felt like because they had Net and JJ in there, like, they needed to make it romantic. But it felt like they kind of, like, jumped through hoops to make it work when it
Yeah,
didn't
they could
feel
have dropped
it did a
that and given
disservice
the
in my
time
opinion.
to Rommel and Paitai. I'm I'm saying it. Like or
Side note,
Ava and
Side note, I think it's so funny when I think about how Thomas and Kong were supposed to play Calvin and Jay originally.
Right.
Like, just picturing that in my head, I'm like, I don't know. Just something to ponder on. But
I
yeah.
will say I find it really funny that like all the women in the show die like they die in the last episode or second last episode. Like
Sigh.
there are women like the mothers, they're all just like dead.
They've been dead. They've
Like,
been dead.
why did
They all
they
died
kill
20
all
years
the
ago.
women? What? It
Just
was
because.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about, like, the whole, like, I don't know. I feel like I could see what they wanted to do with Ava being like the one female on the show who was like advocating for equality and things like that. But like once again in the end it felt like it had no payoff because she just
Oh, I feel okay now. My dad has accepted me as
yeah.
the strong
Okay,
woman I
yes.
am. I can go and be meek in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll jump ahead since we're talking about it. But actually, why did they water down Ava so much?
I
Like, I was really shocked that more people weren't outraged about her dropping out of the fencing competition because she
yeah.
like didn't want to participate in the power grab. Like she thought she was better than it because it just felt like a total cop out. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, it was like they just needed to remove
They
her
didn't have
from the
time to show them
situation.
all
So
fighting.
yeah, so that they
Yeah.
could focus on the male characters. And I could see there being like I could see it from like maybe a toxic masculinity standpoint where like she doesn't want to engage with that, but the way that they wrote it just came off
It
as
just
them being like,
wrong.
here, damn. take it.
Yeah, you
And then
know
Yeah.
they
what
put in
they
a bunch of
could,
feminism buzzwords.
right? They could have done. They could have used her injury from the bow forest incident
Mm,
and use that as the reason why she couldn't fight because she
that's
had an
true, though.
injury. Like,
That's actually
why are
true.
you doing this bullshit?
Yeah. It was just so wild for her to fight so hard, and they have all these pointed moments of her like standing up to her dad, of like him representing the patriarchy and these old school laws of Emily that she wanted to change, and then for her to be in the end be like, never mind, I don't care
Yeah, and
anymore,
giving her
like
the
I
Power
don't need
Woman
this anymore.
montage of like when she did the shot some arrow fight stood on the scene and talked about whatever. Like the whole thing there was just I some women needs to be more involved in these shows because I it felt so forced.
Yeah, yeah. They were driving me crazy with the like strong female character, but then she like basically gives up and is like, well, I think I can just have him make change. He'll do
Yeah.
it. They'll do it for me.
Let the man
Huh?
handle the
Huh?
issues of the country. I'm just a little girl. No.
I also think they shouldn't have even bothered including Mira in the series
Yeah, I
because
agree.
she has like a couple lines. She's just standing in the
Yeah.
background the whole time.
Yeah.
And it just, again, brings it back to the fact that everyone feels so disconnected. And we never get any backstory about Mira because they chose not to do the fencing team thing.
Yeah.
So it
Right.
literally is like again, it's like another character who the story wouldn't change at all if they weren't there. And of
Yeah.
course, it's the female character.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like my biggest frustration with overall the way all of the characterization played out, and like obviously when you adapt a show from a novel, things have to change, like
Yeah.
the narratives have to be adjusted in some way, but I feel like they took out so many like fundamental like character developing, not even just like things that happen, but just so many like characteristics of the characters that I felt made them
Hmm.
more enjoyable as characters. They took out the thing that connected all of the characters to each other. So like everything felt very just disjointed. Like no, each individual couple, like instead of feeling like it was a cast, like none of the characters like connected to each other really. So, and that was like one of the things I really enjoyed about the novel, is like how like Kanin had this team that he built up, and even
Yeah.
in the end, like Ramil and Ava, like they came together as like cousins, and like, you know,
They
kind
were
of like
friends.
unified. They were
Yeah.
friends, yeah, and like I don't know, there was just like such a lack of like development between like the relationships between the characters, but also the individual characters, that obviously a novel has more space to be descriptive of characters and things like that, but I feel like so many of the characters here, like beyond like Kanin and Sharon, just felt very surface level, when like they didn't need to, and I think that's like one of my biggest frustrations. Maybe it's
And
on me for reading the novel before the show aired, but I feel like even if I hadn't read the novel, like the characters still would have felt, a lot of them still would have felt very surface level in nature.
can I say I have a criticism of the plot in general, especially with the king and his the reasons why he does what he does what he does. I as a leader, obviously you need people to run the mines. You can't just let them die as flies because you'll have no more people doing the work. So I don't understand that, like, they had the technology, they had the money, they had everything, but no, we're just gonna let people continue dying. And that's just like, why?
Also, this is another, like, maybe it's like a novel comparison, but am I remembering incorrectly? Because I thought that when I was reading the novel, they were saying that the king killed Sharon's mom on purpose to save Kanin. Like, I swear that, like, he's
Yes.
the one that orchestrated the car bomb, because in the novel it's like a car bomb or something like that.
Yes. I can't remember the exact details, but it was like more like the mom was basically a sacrifice in the novel as opposed to it just being an
Yeah.
accident, I think. So yeah, there was a lot more like, I don't know, I felt like the king was one of the things I feel like they kind of watered down, because like I hate to keep saying in the novel, but like he was a lot more like malicious in his intent almost, and like one of the big points of the novel was Kanin realizing that like, hey, my granddad's kind of evil, like, and other people in the novel realizing like, hey, this man is like evil and power hungry, and then like in the
Yeah.
show he was just like, oh, I forgive you, grandpa, you can
Yeah,
die in
right.
peace
I was
now.
I was
so
waiting.
mad.
Oh my gosh. The whole time I was waiting for the moment when Sharon was going to turn the gun on the king. I was like, when is this
Right?
going to happen? When he realizes that his mom is dead because of him. But then even that scene, he was still kind of defending
That was the
the
whole reason
king.
between like, in the novel, that was almost the whole reason of Kanin going back to the UK, because Sharon realizing like what the king did to his mom put such a because he couldn't separate it from Kanin at first, and so like they had to take
Couldn't do
that
his
time
duty
apart.
anymore. Yeah.
But yeah, it just like, it felt like this, I don't know, it felt like that whole aspect of the king and like all the super nefarious things he had done had been kind of watered down. And like they kind of still like very much like, I don't know, Kenan
Like,
forgiving
it
him, and then he
glorified
won and the
him?
king died.
Dude.
Didn't the king like rot in jail? Like, didn't he die in like prison in the novel or
I
something like
can't
that?
remember the
I can't
novel.
remember, but
No,
I
but
think
the
so.
king, everything he did in the show too, that was revealed, was horrendous. Had that been in real life,
yeah.
holy shit!
Yeah.
How are these people still protecting and apologizing for him and not like shunning him? I don't understand that choice.
It's
I
like, no, we
understand that
need
he was
to.
dying. I understand that he was dying. He's gonna die either way. He's not gonna do anything more. But how does that make it okay to just, no, Grandpa? Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
okay with your
Kenan being like, I
apology.
forgive you, like
I
Pat pissed me
forgive
off so
you,
bad,
I
because the
Grandpa,
wouldn't.
king didn't do anything to change.
for
He got out of it
killing
because he
all
died.
those people. I forgive you.
The king was not going to change anything. Like, he said he felt remorseful, but like he got
Dude.
out of everything because he died. And so like Kenan forgiving him, like, I don't know.
He even got to die peacefully. Like, what?
I saw Kenan win and then he died. I was like, what's going on here?
Fucking crazy.
That was wild.
Yeah.
You
I would
you can
hate his
make
guts.
you can make an argument that Kanin forgave him for himself so that he could like let it all go and move on. But no.
Yeah.
No.
I don't agree with this. I don't agree with the choices here. I need to know what
Yeah.
they were thinking.
No, and this is why I'm creating my own version of the story in my head.
Right.
Is because I'm like, I think
Yeah.
I could do better here.
It feels very, I think the thing that's most frustrating is that all of these storylines started off so strong,
Right.
and it's like they fell victim to like this lackluster writing in the second half of the show. And it's so crazy because like they had 14 episodes that were at least like 45 to 50 minutes, some of them over an hour. The finale was an hour and 40 minutes long,
Yeah.
and like still so much stuff felt like it didn't get wrapped up in a way that felt satisfying.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so frustrating because like I feel like the buildup of a lot of these plot points and the buildup of a lot of these characters and like the way they were introduced had so much potential and like connected you to them at first, and then as it goes on and you realize, oh, we're just not going to address this thing, or not going to address these characters, or not going to give reasoning to why this thing happened, like it built up that frustration over the course of the show.
I genuinely believe that if they did some sort of montage in the last episode, just showing the people living happily, the couples all living happily, Paul living happily,
Justice for Paul.
it would.
Justice for Paul.
Paul should be the best man at the wedding. I thought we
Dude,
were gonna see a wedding, kind of.
Paul should have shown up at the wedding with being chakra state. That's what I would have written. Okay.
That's crazy. That reminds me of how people were starting to ship together Tatanai and Vedish, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was gonna say, if you really think about it, Kanen's two dads just should have ended up. His two dads could have just gotten together.
Some people had theories about.
I also saw the theories.
That would have been epic.
I also saw the theories about Kanen's mom and Sharon's mom. Yeah. I was like, they had literally one scene, and people found the Yuri.
Right, you cannot tell me there was chemistry in that car. You cannot tell me that there wasn't chemistry.
It's not even the car scene. It's right before that, because I think this might be jumping forward a little too, but I actually wish that they would have shown a little bit more of the parallel between the moms and their sons. Like, we only really see the moms in the end.
In that one
but
scene,
like they're so I've watched that scene a lot over again, where it's like showing the moms. There's right before they get in the car, people were comparing it to this scene of Kanin and Sharon that's exactly the same. Yeah. Where Kanin like kind of like turns and just like looks Sharon up and down, and then Sharon like nods, and then there's a scene of the moms where they do the exact same thing. So people were like, oh, this is Yuri.
They were literally mirroring their sons. You cannot tell me anything else. I mean, I was living with the vibes I was getting.
I mean, yeah, jumping around again, it's like Sharon was basically raised with the intention of protecting Kanin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was all calculated.
His duty. Yeah, no, that the moms being together behind the men's back is like my headcanon. I just, you cannot tell me otherwise.
Headcanon.
They did not say anything in the show, so you have no proof that it didn't happen.
I don't think anyone will fight you on it.
Oh my god, that headcanon. I mean, there are two really big themes in the show. The big one is following your duty, what you have to do, what you're obliged to do, versus following your heart. And that's Sharon's whole struggle throughout the whole show, is that he's like, I have feelings for Kanin, but it is my duty to not cross that line, basically. And he is very strict with himself on that. Like, he grew up in this system. He's really afraid of anything he does coming off as inappropriate. So he takes his job really seriously.
He is brainwashed into his job.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see like how even when like he does like eventually like cross that line, and like the first time they kiss, even after that he still struggles so much. Like, even though he's already stepped over the line, like it's like he's still trying to keep his duty in whatever ways he can, which is like, you know, why we see in the last episode why he can't say I love you until like he's officially like let go of his role as a royal guard and things like that. So it is like a very interesting, like it's one of those things I almost wish like we'd seen a little bit more of, like that turmoil within him, of like him. I think they do a decent job of like showing him struggling with like his feelings, and like Kanin being so forward where he has to like really hold himself back against but I think it's a really interesting dynamic, and like how, like you said, like Kanin or Chiron was raised to protect Kanin and to be a royal guard, like the depth of what that vow does, and like that being the only thing he's known since birth, versus having to fight that because he has these feelings that are so strong that develop over like this intense emotional turmoil that they go through together. Like, it's really...
Did the king adopting him and then just raising him to be his own like personal
guard
warrior dog, God, and
it's like, even in the end, Sharon felt grateful to the king, like when they were at the king's funeral and he had that flashback of like,
oh my god,
it was wild, the brainwashing.
Sad.
I feel like they
And
were
then,
romanticizing the monarchy, honestly.
you know what? A little bit, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess this also connects to the fact that Kanin is kind of like blind to everything that's happening in the monarchy when he goes in there. He
Hmm.
doesn't know what's going on, and then he like slowly over time is finding out like, oh, I think my family and my grandfather are making people suffer, making people
Hmm.
die. So it kind of flips a switch in him, and he already was feeling suspicious towards them because of Tad Tanai.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of an aside, but I think the king is so stupid for like sending Kanin to the UK and then like assuming he's gonna fall in
Thinking he
line and
would just,
conform.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
why would he?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. He was so like, I guess like blinded by his own power that he just thought Kenan finding out he was royal would like snap something in his brain and Kenan would
Right.
be like, I guess I'm a prince now. But
No.
I think it's kind of funny that Kenan's trajectory is almost a little bit opposite of Sharon's, and that like Kenan goes to Emily like not caring about his duty at
Hmm.
all, like he doesn't want to be a prince.
Yeah.
But then like as he realizes like how much people are suffering at the hands
Hmm.
of his family, he almost kind of feels like he feels more drawn to his duty because he feels he can make change
Hmm.
by leaning
Mm-hmm.
into his royalty. And like even though in the end he chooses to like renounce his title
Yeah.
and go back to the UK, I think it was almost like an opposite trajectory of him like renouncing everything when he first got there, like
Hmm.
being so like does not care about being royal at all, to like then towards the end like seeing how he can almost use, I don't know if that's the right word, but I guess seeing the way his power grants him the power to help people and like
Hmm.
wanting to lean into his duty if only for that small reason.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was like an arc of him growing up and
Mm-hmm.
realizing that the world is more than just fencing.
Mm-hmm.
There is other things happening, and he has like a responsibility or whatever. Like you can argue if it is his responsibility or not, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like he could have gone home earlier, um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
He's a good person.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's the prince of the people, the people's
yes,
princess,
Truly.
princess.
Truly. The people's princess.
pretty princess.
Okay, so the other big theme is just like giving power to the people. So
Mm-hmm.
we see that in like every aspect of the series, all the politics basically.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know at the end they start to talk about democracy more. There's that scene where Kenan is like, "Well, why don't you let them choose their lead, like vote
Mm-hmm.
so they can choose
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
own leader?" And the king is like, no thanks. I'm not going to do that." Um and then that just points to like the abuse of royal power that keeps happening, like even the
Mm-hmm.
situation with the mines and the pollution. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing this so that they can get wealthier, and then others are suffering in the process. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's just a lot of class division that's very evident. I said, like, even when you're looking at the protests visually, the fact that you have, like, Kanin, who's this one who was born into privilege, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
Jay, who definitely wasn't and is suffering, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
Calvin, who is, like, kind of teetering in the middle. It's like they all represent a different side of the spectrum
Yeah.
when it comes to, like, I don't know, where they're falling politically.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I have like a thought. Do you think they watered down the whole royalty abusiveness because of Thailand being a monarchy,
I
or the
don't know.
monarchy in Thailand, better to say?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't actually know. Because they put a lot of emphasis on the fact that Emily is like a made up place.
Yeah.
So maybe that gave them a little more freedom to
Yeah.
showcase
I
politics,
don't
even
think I've
though,
ever seen a
yeah.
lot of shows from Thailand that criticize the monarchy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, BL is such a small subsection of like the Thai media, so who knows what might be out there, but
Mm.
I don't know.
It
Yeah.
was just a random thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, people have kind of felt like maybe the political aspect was watered down a little, but I don't know because I don't really know what else they could have done with that aspect of the show. They already were struggling with all of their fillers, so they're already struggling to give screen time to any of the other characters, so I don't know.
Do we want to give overall thoughts and feelings?
You know, I could talk about this show for another hour, so I think this is probably a
Same.
good place to end. um,
Yeah.
I've said before that I thought this show would be my number one show of the year, and I'm still on there. Like I still believe that this is the best show that I've watched all year. And I think one of the reasons I do have a lot of criticism to it is because I thought it was so good, and when it's so good, you just nitpick, and you pay more attention and notice stuff. But a show that can like make you like your creative juices flow, like Kayla was mentioning, like writing your own story to kind of fix what you perceived as wrong. That's the true way to show like this is good, even though people want to make their own version. Like this is good. So I'm gonna, you know, do we do 5 out of 5? Like
We
it's
don't
5.
usually we don't usually rate the deep dives, I don't think,
Okay.
do we?
Do we?
I can't
I don't
remember.
I
remember.
can't remember either.
I feel like we don't usually do ratings on the deep
No, that
dives.
can be true. That might be true. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done like a really
Yeah.
real deep dive. No, I said that I think this will still be my number one show at the end of the year. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall, like, a lot of my frustrations came from the fact that like I feel like there was so much potential and so much that I felt like wasn't fully realized, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that came from like the writing and the pacing. I think those were my two biggest issues, which is frustrating because I feel like on every other front, like production, acting, like
Mm-hmm.
there was so much that went into the show that I loved so much, but feeling so frustrated with the writing, which should be like the primary element of the show that like keeps you invested. I think especially in the second half, I think I felt more frustrated by it in the second half than in the first half. But there was still a lot I enjoyed about it, and I think like it's such an ambitious project, and like so much dedication went into it from
Mm-hmm.
every angle. I mean, the show, they filmed 70 cues of this show. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were filming up until after the 11th episode of the show had aired. Like they've been filming it for almost an entire year. So
Yeah.
like so much dedication went into it, and so like I recognize that, and like I really really appreciate that we got a project of this scale, and like I
Mm-hmm.
think it really sets a precedent in a lot of ways.
Yep.
I just like wish that like it could have been perfect. Like no show's gonna be perfect, no show's gonna be perfect, but like I'm like there could have been so much that was better, which is like leaves me feeling frustrated in the end. But
Mm-hmm.
overall I still think I come out of it with like an overall like
Same.
an overall same. Z had thoughts. But yeah, I think I still come out of it with an overall positive feeling, and like I'm really trying to like keep in mind that like I had to fight really hard to like separate the novel from the show, because I think like a lot of my frustrations came from comparing the show to the novel. So I think when I'm trying to think about the show as a standalone thing, even though it is an adaptation, like
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot more than I disliked, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This show was my life. And I'm so sad that it's over. I'm so depressed. I would literally every week sit there and just refresh IGE until it popped up. And I would watch it as soon as it was on. and then I would watch it again at night. So I'm really sad. I feel like an era of my life ended.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, this is just one of those shows where like I feel like it automatically checks a lot of boxes for me, which adds to me liking it. Like royalty, check. Bodyguard trope. You know I love the bodyguard trope, so check. Z and Nanu, check. Like it just checks all the boxes for me. I did have to like sit with myself and say, would you still love this show as much if it wasn't Z and Nanu? And I think I'd still like it, but I wouldn't love it.
Yeah.
Like I can't like deny that like being a fan of them is a big draw to the show for me. But it
I think that's fair
also,
too.
yeah, it also like doesn't blind me from the fact that also I was really frustrated by the pacing, and I think just the fact that the characters didn't feel like they really knew each other. And I felt like we didn't know a lot of the characters. And yeah, some of that does come back to me comparing it to the novel, because I think I like fell in love with the story of the novel before the
Same.
series even started. But yeah, I agree that like there's more that I loved about the series than I hated. It was so fun. Even just watching it like surface level, it was so fun, but also just like getting to think about it in a more analytical way like we are now. I'm still like, oh, this is so fun. I love talking about this show. But yeah, I do kind of have the same thought, Alexa, as like it could have been perfect. It really could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does seem to be the general consensus with all the fans who are watching this show. So I don't feel alone. I don't feel crazy for being like, well, you guys slipped up in some ways, but overall, I love this show so much. I think it will still be my number one this year. I can't even deny it. But yeah. Okay, did anyone else have any thoughts at all? We've been talking for
Almost an hour and a
an
half.
hour and a half.
Almost the duration of the show's finale.
There you go. Go watch the finale again after this. It'll be like a double feature.
I did remember something I wanted to say, but it's not actually relevant. It was just a thing that I noticed, so I won't say it.
Well, now you said that, you need to say it. What the hell?
Because I feel like it's gonna be like so.
Just say it.
So
just say it,
Alexa. When I was watching the finale earlier today, and they were dancing in the ballroom, and then it cut to the scene where it was like them dancing alone. It made me think of I Feel You Linger in the Air.
Oh, you don't even need to say it. You don't even.
And
need
I was
to say
like,
it.
that's all. I had that in my notes, and then I was like, it's not super relevant, but if I can compare things to I Feel You Linger in the Air.
I kind of love when shows do that. They kind of set the stage. They're in a room full with people, but then they remove everyone to show that they're so focused on each other.
Them.
It's so romantic. I love it when they do that.
That was it. Not super relevant to where we're at in the discussion, but
no. It's a good place to end.
Yeah, I had a lot of irrelevant thoughts too, but I'll just keep them to myself for now.
Maybe we'll do an irrelevant thoughts about the next Prince, the next episode.
Anyway, thank you for watching today's deep dive on The Next Prince. I can't even focus with it. All of his features look really smushed together. It's killing me.
Don't ignore the tape, okay? He's pretty, okay?
What tape? That's just Z.
Yeah, that's obviously. His nose is not scrunched.
Yeah, we actually had a guest for this. For anyone who has been listening and not watching, Pixie has been holding up her cardboard cutout of Z for this entire episode.
I made this myself, okay? He's always in the background.
Z is always lurking, essentially.
Z is always
But yeah,
lurking.
we made a point, like Pixie was like, I just want to hold it and not say anything. But then I realized, like, people who are listening, when we start laughing about Z randomly, will be like, oh. So that's your tidbit for if you were listening. Go check out the YouTube episode if you want to see Z.
So, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. And while you're at it, why not share this episode with your friends? It all really helps us out. You can also check out our Patreon for early access to episodes and reviews, as well as a lot of other exclusive content. But that is all we have for you guys this week. So until next time,